So this will be another speed test video where we compare um, different calculators running, approximately the same program as best I can get it on the different devices with their different languages, and seeing how they compare to each other in speed of execution. So for this one, this is my last group of programmable stuff, I think. And we have the 82 and the 83 from Texas Instruments. So it'll be interesting to see how these compare to the TI-82 stats that I did in the first video of this. Particularly because I think the TI-83 and the 82 stats are essentially the same. Though I don't know how many different hardware revisions the 83 went to. They sold this thing for like 300 years or something like that. Um, the EL 9600C from Sharp I have here. We have the Casio 9750 G3. And this will be interesting because it has two different languages. It has a version of Python on it, a version of MicroPython, I think, and the Casio Basic or whatever they call it. So same hardware running two different programming languages. It'll be interesting to see if those are significantly different. And of course, I have sitting here the TRS-80 Model 100, which I guess technically is a laptop computer, one of the very first laptop computers. But by today's standards, it's pretty much calculator speeds or maybe even less. We'll see how it compares. So in recording this video, I think I forgot to describe the program itself. So I'll do that now. But basically, we've been working up to the number 1000. What the program does is starting at the number 3 and up to whatever you specify in n, it checks all the odd values and verifies whether or not they're a prime number or not. If they are a prime, it records that in the count, and then at the end, it tells you how many prime numbers there are up to whatever you specified for n. So this program up to 1000 should output 168 at the end. It's very basic. It's not very well optimized, but I wanted it to run on the widest range of calculators I could think of. And so I kept it very simple rather than trying to optimize it so that it could be as consistent across the different devices. But this is actually what I originally kind of framed out the program on. And we can take a look at it here. Is that readable? Yeah. So I did most of the original work on this because nice full-size keyboard, or nearly full-size keyboard, types really nice, and a nice big screen with lots of characters, so it was really easy to work through the program because I essentially had to learn um, everything that I did to write this, and hopefully it doesn't list out too fast. And this is readable here, so because I don't think there's a way to scroll back up. So I don't know. Hopefully you caught that, or I guess you can pause and go back. And you can see a couple of things here, like the count variable. I ended up shortening all the variable names once I switched to these alpha keyboards, the shift register keyboards, because those are painful to type on. So it'll be like a C or an N or a Q or whatever on the other calculators. On this, it's, slightly more readable. And this is, of this group, this is the only one that has an internal clock. So I'll be able to just run this and get the timestamps after. I won't have to record it all and review it later. But yeah, that's that. Turn that off. And for the 82s, the 82 and the 83 are running the same program. They have the same capabilities in the programming environment. So this is actually the first time I looked at this. I bought this as a big group of calculators off somebody, and it looks like they have a bunch of stuff they already pre-programmed into here. So, but this one here is mine, and yeah, you can see it should be basically the same thing as the 82 stats I programmed earlier. So I think there's two different commands. There's ipart and int or int, which both take an integer part of a number and just truncate the decimal value from it. Can't remember what I used on the 82 stats, and I'm not 100% sure what the difference between the two is because it seems like they do the same thing. But yeah, you can see the program here. Pretty straightforward. Yeah. And it's the same on the 82, but it's a lot easier to read this screen than the 82 screen. Quit out of that. Yeah. And then we can take a look at this 96. I think this 9600C came out quite a few years after, like the 83 even. Definitely, I think after the 82, but they're like, I don't know, like very out of touch design. And one of the things here, and we can see it with the program, there's no loops built into the programming language that this calculator uses. So you have to build all your own loops. So this program is actually a lot more similar to like the HP keystroke programs that were written in the previous video for like the 15C and the 32S. But you can see it here. It's actually not that many program lines. And it feels like half of them are just go-tos and labels. So yeah, hopefully you can parse through that. But yeah, this one runs a little bit slow. The other thing that really tripped me up is backspace and clear are right beside each other. So a lot of the times I would accidentally clear a whole line instead of just deleting a character. The other thing is quit. You can see it is the shift function of clear. So sometimes if I didn't have the shift function depressed or activated correctly, I would clear a line in my program and then I'd have to remember what it was and retype it. So that was super annoying. But yeah, again, I think this came out quite a few years after the TIs I have here. And it has this gimmicky stylus touching thing that I don't find too useful. But yeah, I got not too many great things to say about that Sharp. And then, yeah, the Casio here, we can take a look at the Casio Basic program. Finding documentation on this to help me through it was a little bit tricky. It's really popular in like France and Spain, I think, but that doesn't help me too much. So I just had to work through some examples and kind of suss out how the loop functions worked. You can see here this is a bit of a different syntax where you have this like storage function inside of the for loop declaration line. Yeah, we can go just kind of scroll through it and you can see it's pretty much the same as the other ones. And also you can see this little down arrow on these last two lines. That's the that's the display command. So you type some stuff in and then you put that little down arrow in the corner, and that's how you say that those are meant to be output to the display. Um, Back, and then we can check out the Python version. And yeah, I think I had to add this line up here where, because I'm using local variables, if I think it was because if I didn't declare it up here, it's sort of just only worked within the loop and caused some problems for me. The other thing is here, I had to use a break command. I think I had to do that on one other device. I can't remember. Um, but I don't think that's going to be the make or break on comparing the speeds here. Um, but yeah, that's the Python program. What was that, 14 lines? Pretty straightforward. And oh, go. But yeah, that's the programs. And oh, I guess for predictions, because we know how fast the TI-82 stats went, I'm assuming there's going to be maybe within 1 or 2 seconds, pretty much on the same speed as the 82 stats. I can't remember if the 82 runs the same processor as the 83, um, but I would just guess that this is going to be a bit slower, because even if the processor is the same, all the other hardware and the software is going to be a little less refined. Um, this one is hard to guess at because it seems like it's older than the 82, but I think it's newer. So internally, the hardware might be a lot better and the processor might be a lot faster. So I'm going to say it's going to be faster than the 82 and the 83. But that it's not very confident, I guess. But I tend to think newer is faster. This I think will be the fastest of this group. Um, it's actually only it just came out like just a couple of years ago. I think the G3 version, um, and between Python and the Casio Basic, I would guess Python would be a bit quicker. Um, but we'll see how that turns out. And then the M100, I think, is going to be the slowest. Hopefully, not as slow as like the Voyager calculators. I think it'll be faster than those. Um, the 11 and 15C from HP in the last video. I don't want to spend all day recording these things, although I guess it wouldn't because it has the timestamps in it. But yeah, I think it's not even a 3 megahertz processor, an Intel 8085, I think. Um, but yeah, I think this will be the slowest. Probably, I'm guessing maybe close to 10 minutes or something to run the program. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I'll go test them out and record the results, and we can take a look at that. So here's the leaderboard so far. I've gone through and tested these 4 calculators along with the Model 100. Unfortunately, that thing is pretty chunky and it doesn't fit into frame. Um, but yeah, now that I'm looking at the previous results, I kind of think I should have brought this out before to look at predictions because um, maybe not as surprising as the 50G, but there's definitely some stuff that I wouldn't have guessed and didn't guess. Um, but yeah, so we'll start at the slowest of the group. So the slowest of the group is actually the Sharp 9600C. So that came in at 7 minutes and 27 seconds as an average across 3 runs. So it's actually going to go down here and considering I think this HP32S, well, it's a scientific, came out in the late 80s. So the you generally think of graphing calculators as quite a bit faster than scientific calculators. Although I guess we could say the same sort of disappointment for the 50G. But yeah, 7 minutes 27 seconds for the Sharp. The next fast is actually, this is pretty surprising for me, is the Model 100, TRS-80 Model 100, which is the one of the first ever laptop computers from the early 80s. 4 minutes 12 seconds. So actually faster than the 48G Plus. So we put that in there. Right. So that's a little surprising to me. I wouldn't have guessed that probably. I would have maybe, I was guessing closer to 10 minutes. I would have guessed down here. But yeah, then the next one, and not too surprising here. Well, a little bit. The TI-82 came in at 3 minutes and 21 seconds. So almost in the same ballpark as the 92, but not quite as fast as the 82 stats. Which, again, the 82 stats, even though it's an 82 and an 82, the 82 stats is apparently closer to the 83, or the 83 plus maybe. I can't remember. So yeah, 82 TI-82 came in at 3 minutes 21 seconds. Then our next one, not too surprising, is the TI-83, 3 minutes 16 seconds. So that one is in here. And our leaderboard's already getting kind of full. And it didn't feel like I tested that many. But yeah, we can straighten that out later. I'm just getting fussy. Which leaves the 9750 G3. So running basic, the 9750 G3 took only 36 seconds. And that's pretty quick, although this is basically the newest calculator I have, I think. Since that revision, the G3, is from just a couple of years ago. I think 2021 maybe. So we put that up there. And then same calculator running Python. I wouldn't have guessed the gap would be this large. It's kind of a surprising result, but it only took about 2 seconds to run the same program in Python. So second only to at this point, the G1 HP Prime. So maybe we'll put a little gap in there just to signify that. Although we're running out of room pretty quick. But yeah, again, some surprising results, some stuff I didn't guess. And I think that's pretty much it for the groups of programmable calculators I have. Probably from now on, what I'll do is just as I get a new device in, I already have some stuff in the mail, to be honest. I'll just kind of do one-off testing them as they go, and we'll do a couple of the different ones that I have videos on, as well as the comparison of the speed test program. So yeah, that's it for now. Thank you again for watching, and yeah.